Hello, welcome back. It has been so long since I sat down and recorded. I took an inadvertent break, but I think it's actually been a really good thing because it's enabled me to take a step back and assess what's important to me. So at the beginning of the year, something really shocking and devastating happened to one of my dear friends. And I was absolutely devastated for her. For the first week or so, was just in complete shock, and I couldn't function. I couldn't do anything. I just felt so sad and so upset. And then, I think as these things tend to do when they come out of the blue, they just completely shift our reality, and it really makes us reassess what's important to us. It makes us reassess, our values and the relationships in our lives and what really matters. It really makes us pause and think about what really matters. And so, as time went on, I just didn't feel like doing anything. I didn't feel like recording podcasts. I didn't feel like making YouTube videos. I didn't feel like just acting normal. And I feel like that's something that I'm fortunate enough to be in a position where I can just kind of make up my own schedule, and if I don't feel like recording, I can not. I do have that freedom and flexibility, and that's had its own challenges, which I'm sure I'll talk about another time, but I just really had to stop and do what I could to be there for my friend. And as time has gone on, I've just really sunk into that rest, sunk into that pause, sunk into that period away from output, from, putting myself out there. And, it's also been summer, and I really don't thrive in summer. I'm not a summer person. I am much more of a cozy winter, cooler weather person. And so now that I feel like it's cooling down here in Australia and the seasons have changed, I feel like myself, I have changed as well. And I think that this is a similar pattern that I've noticed throughout, particularly the last few years, as I've really been diving deep into my own self-discovery and just like homecoming journey of really getting back to what's truly important to me. And I have noticed the seasonality of life. I have noticed just how much I thrive in certain seasons, and how important it is to honor those different seasons, and how important it is to allow ourselves to move with the rhythms of life. And I think when these devastating and shocking things come out of nowhere, it really asks us to bring our attention to what is present. It really asks us to focus on what is right in front of us. All these other things just kind of slip away and don't seem so important. I was so focused on all these things that I wanted to achieve this year, and ironically, the last thing I put out was all about transforming your life and how I was going to transform my life. And the ironic thing is that we don't have to actually do anything to transform. Life will give us the things that will transform us. Life will present us with the challenges and the adversity and the highs and the lows and the struggles and the devastation and the loss and the grief that will lead to our transformation. We don't actually have to do anything in order to transform. And of course, it's a beautiful thing to want to grow and to want to heal and to go on an intentional journey of self-knowing, self-discovery and self-healing. But we don't have to force that to happen. Life will present us with those things that will really catalyze our growth and our healing and our transformation. And so I'm just sinking into this softening now, this softening of how I thought I wanted to show up and how I thought I needed to do a podcast and to run a YouTube channel and to, share what's on my heart, because I have really questioned in this period, in this retreat, in this season of stepping back and taking a pause. I have really questioned, do I even want to have a podcast? Do I even want to share my life online? Do I even want to put myself out there in this way? And I often come back to a similar sort of answer when I ask myself this question, is that yes, I do feel like I have things that I want to share, and there's a lot on my heart that I want to share, and I think that I do have valuable lessons and also just, creative ideas and inspiration that I want to share with other people. But perhaps the way in which I'm doing it feels a little forced, feels a little like I'm having to be someone that I'm not. And that is something that became very clear to me in this period, is that I cannot afford to try and be something that I'm not any longer. I can't afford to try and force things and to, just be something that I'm not. I don't have the energy for that anymore. And another thing that has been coming up for me is just wanting to be so much more efficient with my energy and my output, and just really allow myself, in the time that I'm not out there or sharing or creating, to just rest. And this is something that I've found very difficult throughout my life, is learning to rest, is allowing myself to rest. And even just saying it, I want to take like a deep breath here. Why do we find it so hard to rest, to slow down, to take these pauses? I think it's because we live in a society that really wants us to be on 24/7, that really benefits from our productivity, that benefits from us being constantly productive. And something that I've come back to again and again and again is that rest is also productive. Taking time out is also productive. It really enables us to recharge, to nourish ourselves in order to make whatever it is that we're creating and sharing and contributing to the world, to other people, be so much more effective and so much more true, just so much more, I want to say best, but it's not that. It's just to be able to contribute who we really are. We can't do that if we're not at our most rested, if we're not at our best. We can't do that. We can't give what we're here to give if we're not giving that to ourselves first. And this is really the notion of self-care, the notion of tending to ourselves, taking care of ourselves, tending to what is present for us. And that really does speak to the seasonality of life. And there will be seasons that require more rest. There will be seasons that require us to retreat. And then there will be seasons where we do feel ourselves coming back to life and we feel like we're ready to share more and we're ready to go out into the world. So this is where I'm finding myself now. And it is going to be, I suppose, a bit of a learning for me to sink in to this new way of doing things. And I'm ready for it. I'm ready to really start putting myself out there in a more honest way. And in order to do that, I need to really nourish myself and nurture myself so that I can give my best self in doing that. So this is the power of the pause. And again, let's just take a breath here. To pause is to take an intentional breath, is to allow ourselves to slow down, to be present. Can notice the space in these pauses, even in my speaking, this space between the sound, to just simply be. This is what it means to be present. And we can be present when we're doing, when we're taking action. We can be present when we are moving quickly. We don't have to be going slowly in order to be present. I think that's a common misconception. And actually, time expands the more present we are. Time expands the more present we are. This is something I think I've known for a long time, but it hasn't fully sunk in. So let's just sit with that, shall we? Time expands when we're being more present. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for listening. If you're tuning in on YouTube and watching, thank you for watching. Thanks for being here. If you're listening on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, thank you as well. And these are recorded and put on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So I will leave all of the details down below. I'll leave where to find me, social media, everything else. I do have a few exciting things that I'm working on in the background. I have lots of free meditations, lots of different ways that you can connect with me and find out what I'm up to, and I have more exciting things to come soon. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And I really look forward to connecting with you again soon. Take care. Go gently. Allow yourself to take a pause. Allow yourself to move with the seasons of life, with whatever life is presenting you with. And just know that there is so much value in pausing. There is so much value in taking a step back. And it is so important to really reflect and reconnect and reassess what is important to us, what does matter. And at the end of the day, I think we'll find that it is pretty clear in times of, in difficult times, it becomes very clear what is important. So I'm sending you all of my love, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.